Hello there, and welcome back to Deep Sky Shed. This is part one of a tutorial about the use of the new AstroBBQ Hubble Palette Script. In part one, I will be processing some Seestar data, and in part two, I will be processing some Dwarf II data. So without any further ado, let's go to the desktop. Okay, so first up, we're going to have a look at some data captured by the Seestar S50. This is NGC 281, the Pacman Nebula. In the next episode, we will be looking at the Rosette Nebula as captured by the Dwarf II Smart Telescope. But really, I think that the processes are going to be very similar and should also apply probably to any one-shot color camera. So I'm very interested to see how well it works for different targets. So yeah, please post your targets somewhere and let me see them. That would be great. Okay, so for this episode, let's continue with the Seestar data. Okay, we're going to look at NGC 281, Pacman. This one is Seestar, so I've just got a few lights. Shouldn't take too long to process. So I'm just going to run this new script, which is this one, the HA03 script. And here we go. I'm going to fire along, and I'll just leave you for a minute and come back to you when it's finished doing its thing. And just coming up to the end of StarNet now, and there we go. Okay, so unlike some of the other things we've done, this is going to require a little bit more processing. It's just a bit more complex, really. But I think it's certainly worth people getting into some of this stuff a little bit more, particularly the generalized hyperbolic stretch. You know, I think the more I use that tool in Siril, actually, the more useful it seems to become. So anyway, let's just go on through it. So the first thing I would do here is I'm going to do a color calibration, but just not a photometric one, just a manual one. We don't want to do photometric because it's going to try and put the colors right again, and we've just put the colors wrong, so we don't want that. So what we do is we take a little bit of I'm just left clicking and dragging and creating a little sample point on the background. Then in this top area, background reference, I'm going to click use current selection and click background neutralization. So that's step one. Step two, I'm going to pretty much cover most of the object I'm trying to do, but try and get, you know, some of the contrast, different colors, different intensity levels. Again, a bit lower down, I've got another use current selection button. Click that, and then I'm going to click apply, and we're done. And as you'll see, it actually did change. It sucked some of the color out of it, but it's also changed the color. And these areas here have gone more blue, which is what we're really aiming at. So we're looking for that classic sort of yellowy, orangey, and blue Hubble palette. Next thing is to get the GHS tool up. We're going to start stretching this image now. And I would like to just give a shout out to Deep Space Astro. He did a very good tutorial, and he did give a few good tips about this process I'm about to show you, so thanks to him. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is to select Modified Arc Sine Transform, and I'm going to use the even weighted luminance. And this was one of the things he said, that actually this retains the color for the Hubble palette colors. This retains them better using this particular algorithm. So we'll go with what he says because I think it works well. So anyway, I'm just going to do a general stretch now. Just drag this across and start bringing this, quite a hard stretch really. Bring this maybe across the first line so I can just start to see something developing there. Apply that, and then we'll do the same again, and maybe take it to the third line, and I'm going to apply that again. Then we're going to go down to the linear stretch and just pull the black point in. So as I slide this across, I don't want to clip anything, so I'm just taking it along to this edge here. That's going to be fine, that's about right. So we'll apply again. At this point now we can move over to the normal GHS, Generalized Hyperbolic Transform. Independent channel values. And we'll just, I think we're just going to go for a little area, what will be a blue area. So I think I'm just going to go into that little area there and just draw a little box here for a sample point for my symmetry point. Just click this button to apply that. So that's really giving me a sample of this particular area, and I'm going to use that as a kind of pivot point for the stretch. So now we'll stretch up a little bit, and as you can see it's starting to develop a bit more. That's quite nice. I think I'll leave it at that and I'll apply that. I'm going to do another little sample point over on this slightly duller area here, which is going to be more the yellowy, orangey sort of area. That's pretty nice, and as you can see we're starting to develop some good colour now. But I'm just going to pull this in a little bit. I don't want to, I'm trying to avoid bringing the background noise up too much. I'm just going to increase the contrast a little by moving the local stretch intensity over to the right a bit. I'm going to apply that. I think I'll leave it there. So again, I'm going to just apply that value, this little sample value, to the symmetry point. Do another little stretch. Again, maybe move the symmetry point over a little bit more contrast like that, and apply. Or maybe just see what else we can see. This might be in too dark an area, but we'll just see if this is going to work. Keep going, just maybe. I think what I'm trying not to do at this point is just to, I'm trying to get some of this fainter stuff better, but actually there's really probably just not quite enough data here. There weren't that many subs on this. I think probably might have been 150 or something like that. Wasn't a huge number anyway. I'm just going to reset that and just have another little. Sometimes it's better, you know, you just start going in the wrong direction. It's better to just reset and try again. This is maybe a little better. Just keep easing it across there. Maybe a little more contrast. That's pretty nice at the moment. So again, just apply that. At this stage, what I'm going to do actually is to denoise it. So I'm just going to save it as a TIFF. I just click the little down arrow next to the save button. That's like save as, really. Okay, so save it as a TIFF. We want it to be, for what I'm doing, I want a 16-bit. Save that. I'm going to just use affinity now for a minute. There it is. And then we're going to go to filters, plugins, OSC Astro noise exterminator, and just try and exterminate a bit of noise. Yeah, that's pretty nice. We could maybe, while we're here, because there's some good tools here, I'm actually going to like this quite a lot as well, this program, as I use it more. We'll go for unsharp mask, I think. And I love the split view that they have is really cool, so that I can put a splitter down so I can see exactly what my settings, things I'm changing here, what effect they're having. And as you can see, that's just added a nice little bit of sharpness to it without going too far. So we'll just apply that. I think we'll keep that. We could use the clone stamp tool. Where is that tool? Oh, there it is. Oh, that's why. Right. I'm going to just put an origin point there, and then I can just use that to do another origin point here, and then I can just use that. Put another origin point there, and I can do that. It's awfully bad, isn't it, this? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be doing this if there was any really specific data on nebulosity or anything that was important there. But sometimes that's what you need to do. So there you go. We'll export that back out. Then I'm going to rename the file just so I can keep the original. So I'll just put the number 2 after it. Save that. Then we go back to Siril. Then I'm going to open that file up. There it is. Then I want to save that file as a FITS file so I can continue editing it. So we select FITS file, click save, select 32-bit, save again. Then I just go back in and reopen the FITS file that I've just created, which is this one here. And I'm now ready to continue editing. Then we'll just process this a little further, just try and give it a bit more, make it pop a little more. Okay, so we'll just give it a little bit of stretch. Nice. Bring the symmetry point across to darken it down a little bit. Local stretch intensity up to make it a little more contrasty. That's quite nice. Apply that. We'll give it a little bit of a saturation stretch, just improve the color a little bit. Yeah, quite like that. Now the only thing is looking a little blue in the background. I just wonder if we can do something with that. So I'm going to just select the blue channel only. Maybe do a little inverse stretch and see if I can. Where's that going to put me there? See if I can. There you are. That's better. So I've just used the inverse hyperbolic transform to reduce the levels, and I use the little sampling area here for the eyedropper to just give me the symmetry point, just to try and target the background, and that seemed to work quite well. So I'll apply that. And you know, we could play around with this all day, but I think that gives you a sense of what it can do. So we'll leave that there for a minute. Okay, so we're going to process the stars now. First thing to do is to give them a bit of a stretch. So we're going to use the GHS generalized hyperbolic transform and give them, you know, it's going to take a few pretty hard stretches to get some decent amount of stars showing. So we just keep going. Don't clip it right off though, try and keep all the curve away from the edges. I think that's better. Okay, that's maybe quite good to start with. So we're just going to save that. And what we'll do is we'll just put these stars together with the background, and we'll just see how that's going to look, and then we'll decide what adjustments we need to make to the stars. So we go to star processing, star recomposition. We put the background in on the left hand side. And we put the stars in on the right hand side. And that gives you an idea what we've got. Now, that's not looking so bad to start with. I mean, obviously we've got work to do here. The stars are still they're a bit fuzzy, they're not very bright, and they're not really very sharp. But, you know, that's all stuff we've got to try and fix now. But I think what we're going to do first with the stars is we're going to try and brighten them up. So let's open them up again. So I'm going to open up the GHS tool again. We'll go for a bit more of a stretch. This time I'm going to bring the symmetry point in. And this will start, as you can see, you can kind of control. In fact, with all these three sliders, you can control how many stars are showing. You can control how bright they are, how fuzzy they are, all sorts of different things by just adjusting these three sliders. So mainly with the symmetry point, you're going to control how many stars there are. So we can come right over and have lots. But also, if you want to be careful with it, because you'll make them a bit too sharp if you're not careful. Let's just zoom in and see what we're doing with them. See, I mean, that's not bad actually. But it really depends how many stars you want to obliterate. Now we're getting all this really faint background stuff coming in. And as you can see, I can make them a bit brighter by using the local stretch intensity, or keep them fairly dull. Now that's quite nice, I think. Next thing I'm going to do, so I'm going to apply that. The next thing we'll try is a bit of saturation. Try and get a bit of colour into the stars. As you can see, this one here is starting to yellow up a little bit. So we're just going to save that. Generally, I find you want more colour. When you're just working with the stars on their own, you want more colour than you think, because it will get a bit washed out when you merge the two files back together. So we'll go back to star processing, star recomposition, starless result. Put my star mask back. Now I'm going to click this advanced button on this control here just to give me a few more options. And we can start just trying to bring these two layers together so that they look like they belong together. First thing I might try, I think, so we've got a GHS here, independent channel values. So give a little bit of a stretch there and bring in the symmetry point. This one also I'm going to put to GHS. And as you can see, I'm just trying to blend it so the stars are the right kind of sizes. Just get the proportions between the two things right. Yeah, maybe just take this down a little bit. That doesn't look too bad. So let's just apply both sides. We'll close that, and then what we'll do is we'll bring back the GHS again. And I'm going to just try and make it a bit more contrasty, so we'll bring up the stretch a little bit, bring in the symmetry point, hit the local intensity a little. Bring the symmetry point across, that kind of thing. Maybe come a little bit further across. Apply that. Well, anyway, thanks for joining me today, and I hope you found this useful. This data, as I said earlier on, is only about 150 subs, so it's not all that great, but I think it gives you some idea at least. I mean, it would be great to see it with, I don't know, 600 or 700 subs. I think that could be a really nice image. I'm going to do a second part to this tutorial, and in the second part I'll actually be processing the Rosette Nebula, which was captured by a Dwarf II. If anybody has any questions they'd like me to answer, or if there's something I've missed or I wasn't clear about, just drop them in the comments below and I will try and pick them up and answer them in the next part of this tutorial. In the meantime, thanks for watching and hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.